Hey everyone, welcome back to Hinterland, back in Germany. Happy Monday. If a Monday can be happy, I hope yours is as happy as a Monday can be. Kind of feels like I was going to break into the if a woodchuck could chuck wood, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck, kind of thing. So how happy can a Monday be if a Monday could be happy? So I am getting our Lambo cleaned up because we're going to town. And we can't go to town in a dirty Lambo. Well, I guess we could. There's really not anybody downtown to see us except for the shop owners, but they're mostly inside. So I had to work up a bit of a deal with Heinrich, kind of a rush order, and it wasn't cheap, but we did get it done. We need to take care of some weeds, and normally I would just buy the typical weeder, go over the fields with a weeder, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to approach our weeds a little differently as far as I'm concerned. You all may do it this way already. I don't know if you do or not. I'm going the herbicide route, the spraying route. So we are going to go grab a sprayer setup that I purchased and had delivered overnighted, so to speak. Boy, we're going to wrap up August soon. I know it's getting to be a long month, but we've got a lot done, I think. I did get that our new field limed up, as you can see right there. I did get that limed up, so we're in good shape there. And here is our new sprayer setup. Hello, Heinrich. How you doing, buddy? Doing all right? Let's go out and say hi to Heinrich real quick. Hey, man. How's it going, brother?
Hi.
Hi. So, thanks for getting that in a hurry for me. I appreciate it.
Hi.
Awesome. Maybe could you ask the delivery guys to maybe have these placed a little bit further back this way so they're not so close to the edge over there? Is that possible?
Hi.
Okay. I mean, I didn't mean any offense by it. I was just asking. You know, just thought I would ask, but apparently that's not a possibility. So we'll just hope that we can always fit in our little space here. It's not too bad of a space. Thanks, Heinrich, again. Really appreciate it, brother. I'll catch you on the flippity flop. Heinrich. Heinrich. He's a good guy overall. Did spend some time in prison. He wouldn't tell me why, but whoops, almost missed our turn. He did. He has spent a little bit of time in prison. I'm not judging him. Things happen. People make mistakes, or people get, you know, accused of something they didn't do. I don't know what happened in Heinrich's situation. All I know is seems like a pretty decent dude to me. And honestly, if he's got some contacts that might help us get some stuff on the down low, it may not be that bad of a thing. I'm not gonna ask him though, because that seems kind of stereotypish. Like, oh, you spent time in prison. Do you think you could get me some stuff off the back that fell off the back of a truck? That seems a little bit, not cool. All right, so we need herbicide. I'm not entirely sure. Did that fill up the back or the front? That must have filled up the front. And that must have filled up the back. I do wish Giants kind of wish they would make that a little more selective, like actually have it pop up when you select the item that you want to fill or what you want to fill with. Have it say front or back. It honestly could be that simple, It could be that simple. Ooh. I'm liking what I see here from the old Caverneland. Now we can upgrade the boom arms if we want to in the future. This is the smallest one. This is the 18 meter. Man, that looks sweet. Is that like a giant, would that be metal or is that a, that is pretty cool looking. Not too shabby at all. Well, let's stop yibber yabbering and I guess we need to get to spraying. We need to take care of these weeds, them there weeds, because we do lose quite a bit of yield if we don't do it now. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go to it. There you go, Lambo. Needed to get that thing into drive. And I also need to make sure I'm watching where I'm going because I'm missing the edge there. Pretty good. Get over there, Brad. There you go. There you go, buddy. You can do it. This is officially our last chore for August. And then we will be moving on to September. September primarily is going to be planting season for us. More planting. Probably going to do wheat and barley. I was thinking about holding off and not planting anything until next year and doing like corn or something, but we kind of need to get some stuff into the ground so we can start making some cash. The sooner the better. We could use some straw as well. It would be nice to get some straw in the barn for our TMR. We don't need it for bedding, but we will need it for a little TMR action. First time I make TMR is probably going to be interesting. And I say that only because I'm not really used to how much our mixer can hold of each. So until I get like a kind of a ratio down, it always seems a little bit tricky at first to figure out how much you're going to need of silage, mineral feed, straw, and hay. I think typically our hay, if I can talk, hay and silage are pretty equal, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've made TMR, but I think silage and hay are fairly equal. Straw is on the lower end, and then of course mineral spirits is on mineral spirits. I don't think I want to be throwing mineral spirits. Oh, that'd be brutal into our cow feed. They would not like that. Mineral feed, that's the word I was looking for. Into our cow food. I quite like this little sprayer. Eventually I think we will upgrade the boom. Oh, I can't adjust boom height. Maybe we should lower it a bit. We'll lower it a bit. Because we are professionals. And I think lower is probably better. So we're not losing a bunch to the wind. Got a little feedback on one of my videos about patch 1.9 and some issues the person was having with some graphics issues, with some stuttering and stuff, and it's definitely to be expected when Giants releases a patch. Until you get your shader cache bumped up, things are going to be a little choppy, but I guess they are a little more choppy than typical, and they're continuing to have a little bit of a problem with it. So I've been trying to help them out a little bit, but I've heard this from other people, and I don't know what to make of it. Uh, it seems like, you know, it is a kind of a typical thing I hear in this, I see in the forums. Um, Quite often is people complaining of stuttering and stuff after a patch. It's always hard to know. It's kind of a thing where Giants has to, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and I think I've mentioned this before, where Giants definitely appreciates the modding community, and definitely, I think to some extent, they rely on the modding community. We rely on the modding community in a lot of ways because it helps extend the game out quite a bit. Between what's going to now be 3 years, it looks like, you know, it's going to be 3 years in between versions. But at the same time, it's got to be a little bit frustrating because I think Giants probably deals with a lot of support calls and support issues that quite possibly may not exist with base game maps and base game equipment. Not to say that it's certainly not always perfect from Giants. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting early on. I mean, we got some pretty heavy patches early on in 22. But at the same time, you know, even mods that pass Giants testing for the in-game mod hub does not necessarily mean that they are perfect in every way. In fact, I have seen maps, I've seen some mods that are in the in-game mod hub that definitely have been problematic, but not as common as you might see from some third-party sites where people aren't going through Giants testing. There's also some excellent maps and excellent mods that don't go through Giants testing that aren't available on Giants Mod Hub. So certainly not a requirement to be a great mod or to be a great map doesn't mean that you have to go through the Mod Hub. I don't think I'm going to make this in one swoop here. Oh, so close. So darn close. It's kind of weird doing this without precision farming. I'm a lot more careful about turning the sprayer off as quickly as possible and utilizing the sprayer as best I can. I missed a little bit here on the edge, and I honestly don't know that it's even worth doing this, but I really don't like weeds. So we're just going to hit this edge that I failed to do. I think that's pretty much it right there. And let's get over to our other field and let's finish this other field off. Evening on Hinterland. It's a pretty map. I quite like it. I quite like it. I like the way Omatana made it so that you just really don't see the borders of the map. You can't really tell. I think when map authors do that, I think it really adds a lot to it. I've run into some maps where the edge of the map is pretty jarring. And it's kind of nice when they just take that extra effort to blend in. Oh, hey, Mr. Deer. Make that extra effort to blend in the edge of the world, so to speak, so we don't have to take a look at something that's super obvious. The Lambo is revving up and down a little bit. Might be interesting to try. I think the Voltra could handle this this task pretty well. Maybe that's what I should have used, and then save these the Kloss and the Lambo for harder field work. It's actually kind of nice not having to. I mean, I trust me, I rely on GPS, but something like this is just kind of nice every once in a while to be able to just eyeball it. It's pretty easy to see and pretty easy to do with the sprayer, I think, like this. I actually prefer the 3-point mounted sprayers over the toe behinds. I just find them easier to deal with the boom arms. It seems like every time I get a toe behind, I end up getting mixed up with trees or something. What I would like for us to get eventually is a self-propelled sprayer that can kind of do nice big, maybe 40, 42 meter boom on it and just knock this stuff out right quick with a nice big capacity. They're not cheap, but maybe that's something we can invest in down the road. Boy, it took a long time, it seemed like, again, for Throwback Thursday Sunday edition to do its processing on YouTube. Man, I don't know what's up with YouTube lately, but videos that are like 45 minutes. I thought it was an hour that was the kind of that cutoff point where it goes from, normally they take like 2-3 hours to process to HD, maybe 4 hours on occasion, and I thought anything up to an hour or over an hour is what was really extending that timeout. But Throwback Thursdays Sunday edition was, I think, about 50 minutes, 48, 50 minutes, and it took forever, it seemed like, for that thing to process. It's like I'm constantly watching it going, come on, And I know there are tricks, supposedly, to kind of force it to finish. And I've tried some of those tricks, and they don't really seem to work. The only thing that I've seen that that works more or less, just checking out how this thing kind of floats around. It's kind of cool. The only thing I've seen that really works is going in and going into edit and just completely resetting the video again. And I hate to do that because it takes it offline and makes it unavailable to view, but I've had to do that a couple times just to get the stupid thing to finish. Very nice. Nice little compact jobber. I think that'll do it then for our weeding. Let me figure out where we're going to park this. I suppose we've got some room, I think, over in that shed there. Do we have room over here? Maybe we do have some room over here. Yeah, right in here. I think we can stick it right in here. And we'll dump the front. Reverse this puppy. Ooh, almost too tall, but not quite. Not entirely sure how the best way is going to be to do this, but I guess if we do it this way, we can just kind of back into it, pick the back end up first. I think that'll work. All right, Mr. Lambo, good job. Thank you very much for your service. There is one more thing I wanted to check. Let me grab the front weight on the Lambo. I always lose my front weights when I set them down, it seems like. Let's grab our front weight again. In fact, Lambo, you can just park. You can just park right there for us. Thanks, buddy. So I was wondering if we look here at our fermentation, we're at 3% on these bales. Kind of wanted to see how the bale, that bale right there, the silage bale that we put in the shed, in the barn here, is it at 3% as well? And I think this is the bale right here. Oh, there you are. Yeah, it's 3%. Very cool. All right, so we can, in that case, we can store our fermenting bales right here in the barn, and they can continue to ferment sitting in there. So that's kind of handy. Wasn't sure if they would or not, but it looks like that's going to be all right. Well, let's scooch on over. I think we can head into where's my thingy? Are you my clothing? You're my clothing. You should be my sleep trigger. Yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't firing up. All right, let's sleep through September, or into September, and we can get to. Good morning, cows. How are y'all doing? All right. You got some friends coming, by the way. Just an FYI. Got some buddies coming on the boat. How are our cows doing for food? So they're continuing down the route, which is fine. Health is mediocre. Wonder why health is mediocre. Water's good. I wonder if health is mediocre because the hay is kind of low. Interesting. Chickens, of course, are doing fine. We're gonna work on some. We're gonna work on TMR for y'all. Okay, I promise. I promise we'll work on getting you some better food. And our spray job did exactly what we needed it to do. In fact, I need to remember we need to fertilize. Do we have fertilizer in our spreader? We do. I am going to get. Oh, what's the best way to do this? I suppose we could fertilize this. We need to fertilize this field, and we need to fertilize. Well, we need to fertilize both fields. The question is, should I just hire somebody to do it for us? And yeah, let's do that. Let's, because we can start to do some planting. What's going on our field up there with the lime? I think that field needs fertilizing before we plant, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go take a quick peek. I don't think I laid any fertilizer down. Yeah, no fertilizer. And what about you over here? Yeah, you were fertilized. Okay. Let's get this field fertilized up. We got a lot of fertilizing to do. And on this field, I think I am going to take advantage of... I think I'm going to take advantage of our GPS a little bit here. Let's get GPS turned on. Let's get our measurement picked up. I think you are 90. I think I always guess it's 90. Oh, it is 90. Well, good deal. We'll lock in. And we'll get to fertilizing. Definitely. So I ended up just going back to the stutter thing with the 1.9 thing. I didn't really notice any worse stuttering than normal. Patch, you're going to get stutter regardless, but I ended up, something bugging me already. I ended up, if I can keep my train of thought, here we go. Oh no, okay, so both cameras on, that's what I wanted. I ended up reverting my graphics back to the default game graphics for very high. Normally I run custom graphics and pretty much jack everything straight up, maxed it out. And Giants claims that if you don't run custom graphics and you don't run mods, that either you don't need to build up shader cache at all, or it's very limited. So I wanted to give that a little bit of a go, just to see how much truth there is to that. So I did that. I reloaded all my graphics settings to very high, the standard, what Giants considers to be very high graphics. So their max setting without tweaking them further. And went on to Elm Creek. Went out to Elm Creek, loaded Elm Creek, no mods. And I must say, I hate to admit it, but I think they're right. I think that they're speaking the truth. I don't think I had any stutters or anything. I think with just regular standard very high graphics on a base game map with no mods, it seemed like it loaded pretty darn smooth and played really, really smooth. Now, I don't know how fair of a test it was because I had done some shader caching, some graphics caching already to some extent, but just thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm not a huge stickler on graphics. For me, if it looks good, it looks good. I don't really get into there are some people that are super OCD about it, really particular about it, and I'm not really that way. I tend to be a little bit more, if it looks good, it's fine, because it looks good. What the settings I have now are bumped back quite a bit from what I normally run, and I think it looks pretty good. The only thing I notice, I think, are the distance. The further in the distance doesn't look as good to me, and that's to be expected because I have LOD jacked down. I think the default's like 130%. I usually run it at 200%, but So I'm looking out there in the distance, and just some of those distant trees and things may not look as sharp or as good. I need to start paying more attention to what I'm doing. But I think it just seems like a constant subject that comes up a lot on the forums. I see it quite a bit on the forums. And it always gets me to thinking and investigating it a little bit more on my own. Of course, you miss a little bit there, Brad. That's all right. We'll come back and get that. No big thing. Tractor's starting to look like Frosty the Snowman. I'm kind of hoping, at least for me, that maybe the next version, Giants will tone down the Lime graphic a little bit. To me, it just looks a little bit too... It looks a little bit too solid, like it snowed on the field. Like, I would rather have a more, I don't know, variable look to the Lime. Just my opinion. And I would like it if the liquid applications, liquid herbicide or liquid fertilizer would come across looking a little more wet. I don't know if that's necessary though, because I don't think they, I don't think there's enough put down typically that it would really make the ground look wet. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to real life applications, but just a thought. I'm trying to get us evened out here on our GPS a little bit, and I really don't. It's either take care of it here or take care of it over there. It's just one way or the other. This is why I kind of liked precision farming, because I feel like we're wasting quite a bit. But if I do this to not waste it, we're still going to be going over it again. I guess I could have adjusted my GPS a little bit. That might have been maybe the way to go. Oh well. I guess I could also... Oh, you can't really... Oh, you can only do that on liquid sprayers, can't you? Kind of adjust. So if you adjust on a liquid liquid sprayer, and you adjust the distance or the range, the left and right side, does it actually use less, or is it just kind of a graphical thing? Does it just look that way? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can lock in here. It seemed like I checked that out one time, and it seemed like it was more of just a how it looked kind of a thing, more than how it actually affected spray, how much it was using. Could be wrong on that, though. I think I've got dirt. Just out of curiosity, yeah, dirt is set to normal. Now, granted, I don't think we would be seeing quite this much lime um, attaching to our spreader and our tractor if it weren't for the real dirt mod that I have going on. Maybe I'll try disabling the real dirt mod and stuff. I haven't played this game in quite a while without those mods active, the real dirt mod and stuff, and I think that's what it's called, right? The real dirt color or real dirt mod. It's supposed to, kind of show, it's supposed to give some realism to lime on the tractor, and then when you go over dirt, it takes the lime away and looks like the tractor's more dirty. It's even supposed to do it for grass, which is kind of cool. It kind of gives a little bit of a green grassy look to your tractor if you're spending a lot of time on grass. Well, let's get this last bit of fertilizer down on this field. Probably be wrapping it up for this episode. I think I might do some fertilizing before we get back here tomorrow on Hinterland and get some of this finished up. It's not the most exciting thing, I guess, to always watch, but I think I might get some fertilizing done, and then we can. We are definitely going to have to get to planting, or seeding, I should say, and we still have cows coming in on the boat this month, so we're going to be adding some more dairy cows. Trying to think if there's anything else I ordered. We should be getting our beacon pack for our Lamborghini. That should be coming in on the boat. I think that's coming in with the cows. So we are going to take care of that. Get a beacon put on the Lambo. Otherwise, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think that's all we're going to scoot through September. And we'll be scooching through some winter months, I think, pretty quickly here on Hinterland. Because I don't think there's a whole lot we can do in the winter here. I was just looking at the calendar, and it's pretty much maintaining the animals and waiting for spring to come. So I'm going to just get this little strip here since we're down here. I just don't think it's... I'm convinced that doing these kind of things is not worth it at all. Like, I don't think the game... I think if you're lucky, it's like 1 liter of crop difference. Like that little guy right there, it just doesn't make a difference. The way the game works, it's just doesn't seem like it matters at all. Some people do it, which I totally understand if you're kind of a field perfectionist. I respect that. I totally respect that. I am in some ways, and in some ways I'm not, so... Well, outstanding. I think that's going to take care of this episode for Hinterland. Thank you all so much for joining me again out here, and I'd appreciate a like if you enjoyed it. And, of course, if you'd like to subscribe, there's always that option there for you as well. Join the group. Get informed when new videos are up. I try to post every day. You all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, Tuesday. Bye for now. Take care.